Hi guys, and welcome back to a new video. In today's video, I will be talking once again about the Collector's Bounty event, and this time I want to talk about rare transmog items and which ones you should prioritize during the month of July, while these different items have a better drop rate, and also why all the loot from all the different dungeons and raids from any expansion before Dragonflight are doubled, so definitely it will make it easier for you to get your hands on all these rare items. Just before I start this video, I really want to encourage you to get your hands on this add-on right here, all the things, because it will really help you to see what are some of the different items you can get from all the different dungeons and raids from every expansion. And also it will include sometimes some items that are actually not featured in the main catalog from the game, and also sometimes some items that are not even in the appearance tab. So definitely this is something that will be very useful. And as you can see, you can really just click on any expansion. You can go on the raids or on the different dungeons, and then you can click on any difficulty. You will even be able to see the different trash mobs drops and everything. So this is really a super useful add-on and something that you should really use during this month if you are trying to go after all these different transmog items. And here another thing that I want to mention before I start the video is that if you want to know exactly where are some of these different dungeons and raids that I'm going to talk about in today's video, you can simply go in the main catalog, and here at the overview page you will be able to click on show map. You want to go then on the main zone, and here you will be able each time to see exactly where are the different entrances for these different dungeons and raids. So the first category, of course, of items that was advertised by Blizzard include all the different legendary weapons that you can get in the game. So here I'm just going to go through the list of all the different legendary weapons that you will be able to get and insist on the ones that were mentioned in the teaser from Blizzard. So for the other ones, it's not guaranteed that they will actually get the plus 5% drop rate. But for all these different legendary weapons, normally it's plus 5% drop rate. So basically, if for instance one of them had a 0.5%, it will now be 5.5%, which will definitely make it easier for you to farm these different weapons. So here first from Molten Core, we have a few of them. Here from Ragnaros, you will have the Eye of Sulfuras. So with this item, as well as with the Sulfuras hammer, you will be able to craft the Sulfuras End of Ragnaros legendary item, which is this one right here. And so again, now this item has a plus 5% drop chance. And apparently the drop rate was 4% until now, so it would mean that you are now at 9% drop rate, so it is very easy probably to get during the month of July. Then next to that, from Gar right here, and also Baron Geddon, you will have a chance at getting the bindings of the Windseeker. So each of them have a 4% drop chance, so now it will be 9% drop chance for each of them. And basically you need both of these different items plus a few other items in order to complete a quest that will then allow you to get Thunder Fury, which is obviously a weapon and I'm sure many of you already know. Then after that, moving on, we have from the Black Temple, obviously the 2 Warglaive of Azinod that will drop from Illidan, the last boss. So here again, these 2 items normally have a 4% drop chance, which again I feel maybe is not so accurate, but this is the information that we have so far from Warhead, which would make each of them a 9% drop chance. So you really just have to go inside of the Black Temple, kill Illidan on all the different characters that you can. Then after that, from the Burning Crusade, we also have from the Sunwell Plateau this legendary bow right here, the Toridal, the Star's Fury bow. So this one will drop from Kil'jaeden, the last boss. Normally it has a 6% drop chance, which would make it 11% now, which is really good. And as you can see, this one, you don't need to be a hunter in order to use it or in order to learn the appearance. Then after that, we have, for instance, from Wrath of the Lich King, different legendary weapons, but these ones, they're not really going to be impacted, I believe, because these are from quests, and so you need to pick up different type of items in order to actually get these different weapons. So for instance, for ICC, you have the Shadow Moon legendary axe, and again here I'm pretty sure that it's not really going to impact the way you get your hand on this legendary weapon. And this is the same for the legendary hammer from Pauldrons. So here again, this one I'm pretty sure it will remain as annoying and difficult to get simply because it's not a drop. Now, another legendary weapon that I'm not sure if it will be impacted or not by this is the legendary bow from the Sanctuary of Domination raid from Shadowlands, which is this one right here. I also have it in my inventory. This one drops from Sylvanas, and again here Blizzard hasn't confirmed really if it is something that you will be able to get also the plus 5% drop rate on or not. If that's the case, it will definitely make it easier for you to get. Remember, this one will drop in any difficulty other than LFR, and also if you are getting it on another character than a hunter, you can learn the appearance, but you won't be able to use it. As you can see, I got it on my warrior, and so this is just something important for you to consider as well. Okay, now that we've talked about the legendary weapons, which were again the main items advertised by Blizzard in their teaser, let's talk about all the other rare transmogs. Here again, we are not sure if there is going to be the plus 5% drop rate on these different items, but all we know is that for sure the loot from all the different bosses from dungeons and raids will be doubled. So it means that at least it's like ×2 drop chance for these different weapons. Okay, so first let's start with the different cosmetic weapons from Legion, because I know that these are some of the different items that many of you are still trying to farm right now. So first we have the two different scythes from Argus, the last boss of Enterus. The first one, the red version, is available in Mythic difficulty. As you can see, this is this cosmetic item right here. And then you also have a version from the LFR raid. So here again, you will need to do this boss in LFR in order to get the blue version of this scythe. One important thing I want to mention here is that all the different loots from Legion might become really easy to obtain in the near future with Legion Remix, simply because we've seen it with Mist of Pandaria Remix. Blizzard will most likely provide a few vendors that will sell all these different cosmetics and rare items from the different raids. So just something for you to remember. If you don't want to spend too much time on that, probably you will be able to get them very easily during Legion Remix. Also here, if you want to do this in LFR difficulty, you just want to go in Dalaran, the Legion version, and you want to talk to that guy right here and queue up for this specific part of the raid. And normally like that, you will be able to access the LFR version. So this is basically very easy to do. You don't need to do the entire raid, and you don't need to have unlocked any skip before that if you want to do it on LFR. Now, next to that, from the same raid, we also have Agramar that will be dropping this two-handed sword right here, Taeshalach. So this one, I believe, will drop from normally any of the different difficulties, as you can see. So this is a very nice sword as well. And again, here it will drop from the second last boss. So try to do it in any of the different difficulties that you need. And hopefully you will also be able to get this really cool two-handed sword. After that, from the Tomb of Sargeras raid, here we also have one cosmetic item similar to these ones, and this is the Hammer of Vigilance. This one is a little bit less impressive, but this is still a unique cosmetic item, and you will be able to get it from the Maiden of Vigilance. Again, I'm pretty sure that this one will drop normally from any of the different difficulties. So for instance, if you want to do it in LFR, you can, and as you can see, you will still have a chance at getting the hammer. And all these different cosmetic weapons from the two raids from Legion are believed to be at around 0.2 drop chance. So it means that now probably it will simply be doubled, because you just have the opportunity to get double the amount of loot, so 0.4, 0.5. And maybe Blizzard will also decide to put the plus 5% on them, which would bring them to 5.2%, which would be really helpful. Okay, now let's talk about some of the cosmetic transmogs that are also from the different raids. The first one that I'm sure many of you already know of is, of course, the Tusks of Mannoroth. So this one will drop from Garrosh, and this is something that won't drop in any difficulty. I'm pretty sure that it won't drop in LFR. And so basically, this is something that is not as rare as before, because especially during Mist of Pandaria Remix, it was very easy to get. And also, Blizzard made it that the Siege of Orgrimmar raid is actually now on a daily lockout, so it's actually extremely easy to run. And another important thing for you to remember for the Tusks of Mannoroth is the fact that once you've killed Garrosh and you've done basically the entire raid, you will be able to unlock a skip. So as soon as you enter the raid, you will be able to click on this little parchment and it will teleport you in front of Garrosh. So basically it's going to be extremely easy for you to farm these different Tusks of Mannoroth. Then after that, from Legion, and here we're going back to this expansion, from the Emerald Nightmare in Mythic difficulty and also Heroic difficulty, from Xadius, the last boss, you will have the first Satyr Spaulders. So these are very, very popular Spaulders that a lot of people have and a lot of people have been farming over the years. And this is definitely something that I think you should go for if you really want this item. So this is something, again, that normally will only be available, as you can see, in Heroic and also Mythic difficulty. I believe that after that, it's not going to be available. Another really cool cosmetic shoulders that you can get from this time, the Eternal Palace in Battle for Azeroth, is from Za'qul. And as you can see, this is this one right here, the Pauldrons of Za'qul. So these ones are unique as well. They're really, really awesome, and they will only drop from the Mythic and Heroic version of the raid. So definitely some cool shoulders to pick up as well for your plate characters. And then, while we're talking about plate, you also have from Mist of Pandaria, from the Throne of Thunder. Here again in Heroic difficulty, you will have the Doom Crown of Shen. So this is another unique piece of gear that will drop from the almost last boss. And actually this one I think might drop from any difficulty, as you can see. And all of them are at about 0.2, 0.3 drop rate, with the Doom Crown of Shen being at 1.1, so it's a little bit more for this one. From the same raid, the Throne of Thunder, you will also have some common boss drop that are not mentioned if you go, for instance, in the Adventurer Guide. So here, let's say we're going in Mist of Pandaria, you go in the Throne of Thunder, you put all the classes. As you can see, you have these different weapons that are advertised right here, but none of them will include all these different common boss drop that will have a chance at dropping from any of the different bosses. And this is pretty crazy because, I mean, some of them are extremely cool. And so again, if you want to get these, you should definitely farm them during this month, because these are all very rare drop with like probably 0.2, 0.3% drop chance for most of them. And so now during this period, you will be able to farm them a little bit faster. So these are all the ones that you can see right here. You also have more of them right here. And remember that obviously they all have different colors based on the difficulty. So for instance, it was in normal right now. And then if you take this one right here, as you can see, it's again completely different. So try to also do it in LFR, in Heroic, in normal difficulty, in order to get a chance at getting all these different rare drops from this raid right here. And let me quickly also show you the LFR ones. So again, you have first this polearm right here, you then have this staff, you have this one-handed sword, which is pretty nice. You then have this dagger right here. You have this one-handed mace as well. You have this two-handed sword. You then have this one we already saw. You then have this bow right here. You also have this dagger. And you have this fist weapon. And finally, this shoulder right here with this little hammer. And here is why also you really want to have this add-on with you, all the things, because when going on the raid, as you can see, you will be able to actually know that all these different items drop from the raid. Another transmog set that I really want to include in this video is the Ensemble Vestments of the Tidesages. So this is a unique transmog set which I think looks really awesome from Battle for Azeroth, and you will be able to use it for all your cloth characters. So in order to get the full ensemble, you will just need to get this item right here, and as you can see again, you will need to be on a priest, mage or warlock in order to use it. And basically this one will drop from the Tiesage console and Lord Stormsong in Mythic difficulty. These are two bosses from the Shrine of the Storm dungeon from Battle for Azeroth. So here again, this one is very rare. Normally it has only 0.1% drop chance, which makes it very rare. And right now, hopefully you will be able to have a little bit more luck. Remember, this is a mythic lockout, so it means that you can only do once per week this dungeon on each of your characters, and also I would recommend you to do it on a cloth character, because again you will need to be on one of the cloth characters in order to learn this ensemble. So definitely something I think you should go for, because this is an amazing set. Another cool weapon that again is not going to be advertised if you go in the normal raid tab. So here if you go on Uldir, as you can see in LFR, you're not going to see this cosmetic item that can also drop. But when you go on the all the things version of this raid, so you want to go again on Uldir, you will be able to see that from Taeshalach, the first boss, you will have the normal armor that will drop, but you will also have this cosmetic version of the weapon, which is one unique color for this appearance, and it will only drop from LFR from this first boss. So this is something that I think is also pretty interesting, and definitely something that you might want to get. Again, this is the normal LFR color right here, and then just to show you the other colors, so this is the normal version. You then have the heroic version, which is the blue one, and finally the mythic one is the red version. Then from Mist of Pandaria, you have some rare weapons that are tied to each of the different dungeons from Mist of Pandaria. So here, for instance, from the Mogushen Palace, you will have Mogudar, Blade of the Thousand Slaves. This is something that will drop from both normal and heroic difficulty from the last boss. One thing that is very interesting is that these different weapons, while their appearance are not that great, these are very rare weapons. This one, for instance, has a 0.4% drop chance, which makes it very hard to get. If you were watching Asmongold back in the days, probably you know that he was farming this blade again and again, and I don't even think he managed to get it in the end. So definitely a rare weapon. Here, just as a reminder, also the entrance, for instance, to this dungeon is located right here in the Vale of Eternal Blossom. Then next to that, from the Shadowpan Monastery, here we have this one right here, the Kaeng Breath of the Shadow. So this is a fist weapon, and this one will also drop from the last boss in heroic or normal difficulty. Here again, let me just show you quickly where this dungeon is located, right here in the Kunlai Summit. After that, we also have the Siege of Nuezo Temple. So with this one, you have this dagger right here, which is very small. So this one again will drop from the last boss, and it is located right here in this part of the Tonlong Steppes, at this exact location right here. Then after that, we also have the Stormstout Brewery. So this time we have Ineleva Spirit of Inebration, which is a one-handed axe. Again, for this dungeon, you will be able to enter it in this specific part of the map right here in the Valley of the Four Winds, not far from Salis. And then finally, from the Temple of the Jade Serpent, you will have this one-handed mace. So again here, these are all rare weapons. All of them are between 0.2 to 0.4% drop chance, so it is actually very hard to get your hands on them. So maybe something you want to go for, even though these appearances are not that great. Two other interesting items that I want to mention are the Tabard of the Scarlet Crusade. So this one will drop from the Scarlet Trainee inside of the old Scarlet Monastery. So normally you need to be playing during the Hallows-End event in order to get the Scarlet Key from the event, and then you will be able with the Scarlet Key to do a few quests in order to access this old version of the Scarlet Monastery. You can still find some on the auction house if you want. And basically, when you're there in the armory at some point, before Erod, you will have a bunch of the Scarlet trainee that will spawn. And when you kill them, you will have a chance at getting the Tabard of the Scarlet Crusade. Similar, from Scholomance, you will also be able to get a rare shirt from the old version of Scholomance. And here it will drop especially from this boss right here, the Dr. Theolan Krastinov. And this is this shirt, the Sawbones Shirt. So basically this one is a very rare item that you can find right now also on the black market auction house. You will need to be in the old version of Scholomance, which will require you to do quite a lot of achievements and quite a lot of things in order to unlock this old version of Scholomance. But if you are after some of the different items from this old version of Scholomance, then this is definitely worth it, including obviously this Shadowbones shirt right here. Another category of items that I'm not sure if it will benefit from this increased drop rate or not, but I think it's worth mentioning, include these different illusions right here. So first, from the Emerald Nightmare, you will have this illusion Nightmare that will drop from Xavius. So as you can see, this illusion looks like that, which is pretty cool. And this is actually pretty rare. It has a 1.4% drop chance. So hopefully you will manage to get it with the doubled drop at least from the different bosses. And then from the Night Hall, which is another raid from the same expansion. Here this time, as you can see, you will be able to get the illusion Chronos. And this one will be from this boss right here, the Chronomatic Anomaly. Again, something that is very rare, 1.4% drop chance, and definitely something that you might want to get during this event. Now, one thing that I'm not exactly sure of, but if that's the case, then it's definitely something you might want to go for as well. Include all the different loot from the trash mobs from the different dungeons and raids. So here, for instance, I'm thinking obviously about Uldaman and some of the really rare drops from this dungeon. So you have, for instance, this helm right here, the famous Papal Fez, the Pendulum of Doom. So all these different items are drops that will be completely random from some of the different mobs and everything. And I don't know if the different mobs will also benefit or not from the increased drop. So if that's the case, then it will make it easier for you to also farm all these rare items from the different trash mobs. And of course, Uldaman is not the only one. Here you also have a Shadowfang Keep that has some really rare weapons as well that you might want to go for. For instance, you have the Shadowfang, a unique item. Same here with this one, same with this other one. So definitely things that might be interesting for you to try and get during the event, but first maybe try to wait and get a confirmation that these will also get an increased drop. So these are all the different rare cosmetic items and rewards I could think of from the different dungeons and raids pre-Dragonflight. Of course, I'm probably gonna miss a few, so please feel free to add some other items in the comments, and then I will make a second list in the comments with all these other missing items. But overall, I feel like you already have quite a lot of things to work on, and some of these different items are actually really cool and also very rare, and so July is gonna be the perfect moment for you to get your hands on some of them. I will be back very soon with more guides and more videos, and in the meantime I wish you all a great day. Bye!